Today we have info on the Powerball jackpot, Halloween party shootings, naughty license plates, National Cinnamon Day, and so much more.
We have today's weather forecast with Lily Fowler and a sports update with Sawyer Hughes.
Today is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022.
We are live from Studio H12 in the Shroyer Broadcasting Center at Bradley Central High School, and you're watching Vox News Today.
Welcome back. I'm Amber Filial.
And I'm Ian Reardon, and these are your top stories for today.
Polls are now open in Israel for its fifth parliamentary, or Knesset, election in less than 4 years. This is an election that could make or break former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is eyeing a comeback. That's after a coalition of Yair Lapid and Naftali Bennett crumbled. Now acting Prime Minister Lapid is hoping his centrist party can finish in a strong second place. But Israel is dealing with a political gridlock and fears of growing apathy.
One person is dead and another is in hospital following a shooting in front of an East Toronto high school. Police responded to reports of a shooting at Woburn Collegiate Institute around 3:30 this afternoon. One male victim was pronounced dead in hospital. Police say the second person who was shot was a teenage male who walked into a hospital and was taken to a trauma center. The high school and a nearby school for kindergarten through grade 6 students were placed in lockdown, but have since reopened. Police are looking for a suspect.
Maine is cleaning up its roadways by removing the flippin' vulgarities from license plates. The state is enforcing new rules to eliminate F-bombs and other obscenities that appeared on vanity license plates after the state effectively eliminated its review process. The state began issuing recall letters this month with a handful each day. It'll take a couple of months to complete the process. Secretary of State Shinna Bellows is passionate about free speech as a former director of the American Civil Liberties Union of Maine. But she said obscenities should not be on license plates, which are state property.
When a beloved pet passes away, many owners will make the decision to preserve their memory in a special way. Whether that be having their name engraved on a bench, getting a tattoo using their ashes, or donating to an animal shelter in their honor. One morning, a family has chosen to transform their late golden retriever into a rug so that they will always be reminded of the fluffy pooch at home. Australian company Camara Taxidermy was hired to create the memorial keepsake, and business owner Maddie says it's not an unusual request. Pet taxidermy is on the rise.
Chicago police say at least 14 people were injured in a drive-by shooting Monday night. One person was also hit by a car at the scene. The victims were hospitalized in conditions ranging from non-life-threatening to critical. Those victims included children, one of them as young as 3 years old. There was a group of people gathered for a vigil at the corner where it happened. Police say there may have been others gathered there for other reasons, as it's a very common spot for people to congregate. Investigators hadn't determined a motive as of early Tuesday.
A shooting at a Halloween party in Kansas City, Kansas, Monday night left at least one person dead and up to 6 others injured. According to police, between 70 and 100 high school-aged students were gathered at the home where it happened. A group of uninvited guests were asked to leave, and someone in the group started shooting. The injured victims include at least 2 who were listed in critical condition. No arrests have been made as of Monday night.
A man with a gun held police at bay outside a government building for more than 5 hours, shutting down part of downtown Mobile, Alabama, before shooting himself. A police spokeswoman tells reporters that a man with a gunshot wound was spotted in a parked car outside Government Plaza on Monday. She says the man pointed a gun to his head when officers approached to see if he needed help. Officers surrounded the car, and officers say the man shot himself hours later. Police Chief Paul Prine says the man was believed to have suffered a life-threatening wound.
In the lawsuit filed last December, Ruby Freeman and Wandrea Shea Moss accused Giuliani of defaming them by falsely stating that the pair engaged in election fraud while counting ballots at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Giuliani argued to dismiss the lawsuit in a motion filed in June, saying the claims against him were inadequately pleaded and barred by First Amendment protections for free speech. U.S. District Court Chief Judge Beryl Howell in Washington on Monday rejected those arguments, allowing the lawsuit to move forward.
And now let's check on our weather. Lily, what can you tell us?
Cloudy out today, so stay tuned for the forecast right after this break.
That sounds awful. Seriously, awful. But a lot better than last week.
We weren't born to follow.
I am Cleveland Ford. I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford, and together,
We are Cleveland Ford.
Welcome back. I'm Lily Fowler with your weather. And here's your weather at a glance for today. It is currently 48 degrees out with a high of 71 and a low of 51 with precipitation of 3%. Wind will be at 0 miles per hour with humidity at 100%. The dew point will be at 49 degrees with a pressure of 30 inches, a visibility of 5 miles, and a UV index of 0. The severe drought that has lowered the water levels along the Mississippi River has unearthed some hidden treasures. The latest find, an old casino riverboat in Memphis, Tennessee. The Diamond Lady first set sail in the early 1990s, then became a floating casino a few years later. But a bigger riverboat replaced her by the end of the decade. She sat empty and unused for years. When severe weather storms hit last year, the Diamond Lady sank. Fast forward to October's drought, and the entire vessel is visible again. Now let's take a look at our national radar. There will be rain in the Mexico border and some in the west. And here is your local radar. There will be clear skies all throughout. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. On Tuesday, it'll be cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 51. On Wednesday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 73 and a low of 46. On Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 75 and a low of 45. On Friday, it'll be sunny with a high of 76 and a low of 57. On Saturday, it'll be cloudy with a high of 76 and a low of 61. On Sunday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 55. And on Monday, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 78 and a low of 55. That is all I have for your weather. Here's Sawyer with your sports report.
Today we have Georgia wins the battle of war's largest cocktail party, a historic win in the Big 12, and more after this break.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland. I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Whirlpool, we don't know how leaving the house less can make you need to eat more, or why the inside of the fridge is just so interesting. But we do know how to make appliances you can trust, day after day, after day, after day.
I was told the place I was looking for didn't exist.
A place that could refine my raw talents into something greater.
Where I could ask big questions about my faith, not settling for easy answers.
And I could risk what's comfortable in pursuit of my dream.
To join with others, find my voice, and change the world.
I was told that place didn't exist.
Then I found Lee.
At McDonald's, we're making changes every day to serve you better. It's what we're made of. And serving you better means fresh beef quarter-pounder burgers. Your burger, his burger, her burger. All cooked fresh, right when you order. Made from pure North American beef and just a pinch of salt and pepper. Because we think there's nothing better than a fresh beef quarter-pounder burger made for you, right when you order. And that's just one way we're showing you what we're made of.
somebody needs a timeout.
Oh, that's the power of one.
Civility. Pass it on.
One grain of sand can turn the tide.
Welcome back. I'm Sorry Hughes with your sports. DeJohn Edwards and Kenny McIntosh ran for 2 touchdowns each, and number 1 Georgia pulled away from Florida following a second half scare to win 42-20 Saturday night, and the rivalry dubbed the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The defending national champion Bulldogs looked to be in trouble when the Gators scored the first 17 points of the third quarter and turned a 28-3 deficit in a 1-score game. Number 7 TCU is still working on putting together an ideal performance on both sides of the ball. For now, the Horned Frogs are happy to still have a perfect record. Max Duggan threw 3 touchdown passes, Kendra Miller ran for 120 yards and a score, and TCU used big plays on offense to beat West Virginia 41-31 Saturday. Though the Horned Frogs had 4 plays off at least 50 yards, with 3 going for touchdowns, they had to fight hard in the fourth quarter to hold on. The Horned Frogs didn't need to come back from a double-digit deficit like they did in their 2 previous games. Duggan staked TCU to a 20-21 halftime lead that held up. Will Howard threw for 296 yards and 4 touchdowns. Deuce Vaughn ran for 158 yards and another score, and number 22 Kansas State dealt 9th-ranked Oklahoma State its first shutdown loss since 2009 with a 40-0 victory Saturday. Cade Warner caught 5 passes for 97 yards and 2 scores, and Malik Knowles had 8 catches for 113 yards, while a late interception gave the Big 12 contending Wildcats their first shutdown of the Cowboys since a 10-0 win on November 21, 1992. Oklahoma State's star quarterback Spencer Sanders was just 13 of 26 for 147 yards with an interception before injuring his shoulder midway through the fourth quarter. Freshman Richard Reese ran for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. A.J. McCarty returned an interception for a score, and Baylor beat Texas Tech 45-17 on Saturday night. Second among college freshmen in yards rushing coming in, Reese had 53 of the 75 yards on a drive to his tie-breaking 1-yard touchdown in the second quarter as Big 12 contending Baylor dominated time of possession. Baylor ended a 10-game losing streak in Lubbock while handing a mediocre Texas Tech its first home loss under coach Joey McGuire, the lifelong Texan who was a Baylor assistant in the past 5 seasons. That is all I have for sports. Stay tuned for more news after this break.
CRCC to me is a calling that God placed on my life to really step out in faith on something that I didn't think I could do, and it's been amazing to see how God's worked through it.
CRCC stands for Crossroads Community Church, but we're a church that our vision is to be a life-giving church in our community. We do that through helping people know God, find freedom, discover their purpose, and then go make a difference. And so that's what we're doing every week, is helping people discover their jam and go make a difference.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford. I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Hey guys, this is Austin with Let's Bounce Rental. We're here to provide a quality inflatable for a great price. We have over 17 that's available, and we are easy to book and hassle-free. So you will never go wrong with getting a party done by Let's Bounce Rental. We are always here to provide a great service.
Our crew is dedicated to make sure your equipment arrives on time, set up properly, and without any hassle. Our job is to make sure you have access to the best inflatables so you can have the most fun possible at any event. Whether it's a school event, church gathering, or birthday party, we have the equipment for you. The best part is that we are a locally owned company. We pride ourselves on making sure our customers are taken care of. So the next event you have, plan for success with Let's Bounce Rental. Call us today at 423-435-4311 or reach us by email or website. Thank you.
Welcome back to Vox News. Memphis police are investigating a deadly shooting involving 2 minors. They say officers were called to the scene Sunday night and discovered the body of a 17-year-old girl. A 3-year-old was also injured. The child was taken to the hospital in critical condition. No word on a possible suspect at this time.
Dolly Parton says her touring days are done. The country music legend tells magazine Popstar she doesn't want to tour because they take a lot of time and energy to plan, and she doesn't want to be away from her husband for weeks at a time. Parton's last tour was in 2016, and with 60 shows, it was her largest North American tour ever. However, the 76-year-old isn't ruling out special events like festivals and says technology makes it easier to stay connected with her fans. Parton also tells the magazine she's working on a rock album and would love Stevie Nicks or Lady Gaga to sing with her. Maybe Parton can talk to Nicks about it next week at their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony on November 5th in Los Angeles.
The 2022 midterm elections are a week from today, and more than 21 million Americans have already voted. According to election officials Edison Research and Catalyst, 21.4 million people have cast pre-election ballots so far in 46 states. Texas is leading the pack with nearly 3 million people having already submitted their votes. And Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly has a narrow edge over Blake Masters. And in Pennsylvania, Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman holds a slim lead over Republican Mehmet Oz in his bid to flip that GOP-held seat.
The U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear a case that could end affirmative action at colleges. Justices met on Monday to consider whether colleges and universities can continue to take race into consideration as a factor in admissions. Challengers are targeting minority admission programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina, saying they violate equal protection and are discriminatory. Hanging in the balance is the future of admissions plans at hundreds of schools. Those schools have relied on legal precedent for decades to achieve the educational benefits they say flow from a diverse student body.
Hamilton County Schools officials are currently in the early stages of forming a review committee for the Bible in the Schools curriculum, which is a privately funded program that puts elective Bible history courses in local public schools. Officials aim to include individuals with different faith backgrounds. Superintendent Justin Robertson said at the schools board's meeting, October meeting. Board member Ben Connor, Democrat, Chattanooga, volunteered to be a part of the committee.
Around 10 years ago, Robert Payne, an inmate at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville, was discussing prison conditions with the chaplain, Janine Alexander. According to Alexander, Payne said nothing would change while the state constitution's ban on slavery had an exception. Alexander, despite her background in law, didn't have the faintest idea about what Payne was talking about. Payne directed her attention to the section of the Tennessee state constitution exempting those, quote, duly convicted, end quote, of a crime from the ban on slavery, a clause which is, quote, hidden right out in the open, end quote, as described by Alexander. Alexander brought Amendment 3, which would, if passed, close the loophole and will be voted on in next week's election.
A fatal crash early Sunday morning claimed the lives of multiple Chattooga High School students. Troopers from Post 38 Rome responded to a single vehicle crash in GA 114 just after 12:30 a.m. in Chattooga County. They say a car ran off the road, hit a driveway, and flipped. The driver and 2 occupants of the vehicle were pronounced deceased on scene. 2 other occupants were transported to Atrium Floyd Medical Center in Rome. Later, a male juvenile was pronounced deceased, and a female passenger is said to still be in critical condition. The Georgia State Patrol continues to investigate at this time. Chattooga High Counseling says that counselors at the high school will be available to offer and provide help on site Tuesday morning, following the passing of CHS students this weekend.
Multiple fire units responded to a restaurant fire on Hickson Pike Monday night. According to the Chattanooga Fire Department, flames are coming through the roof of Raphael's Italian restaurant when crews arrived. No injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
The Powerball jackpot has climbed to $1.2 billion. It comes after no one matched the winning numbers in Monday night's drawing. The next Powerball drawing is Wednesday night. If someone is lucky enough to get the winning numbers, it will be the second biggest jackpot in Powerball history and the 4th in U.S. lottery history.
Big music and movie news, as in a record-setting album and a super as the weather cools down, the holiday season is heating up. In the kitchen, think of all the best holiday foods. I bet at least one of them has cinnamon. So it only makes sense to celebrate the spice of the season with its own special day. National Cinnamon Day is November 1st. Cinnamon's quintessential warmth fills our homes with welcoming scents like no other. It balances the sweetness of apple pie, and all you pumpkin spice lovers know it's crucial for your PSL. It also adds warmth to savory dishes. Think about pairing it with sweet potatoes or butternut squash. Cinnamon is often the most purchased holiday spice, but cinnamon celebrations didn't start until 2019. So now that it's got its own holiday, think about what you can cook up with a dash of cinnamon to celebrate.
We are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
You'll also find more online at our website, bchs.tv.
Please remind your friends to like, subscribe, and share on our YouTube channel, BCHS Bear Network.
Tune in each weekday for our newscast. Just can't get enough Fox.
That is all we have for you today from Studio H12 in the Shroyer Broadcasting Center at Bradley Central High School.
From all of us at Vox News, thank you for watching.
We hope you have a splendid day.
And as always,
God bless and go Bears.